Loud too. Woo! Hello.
Turn it on.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, there.
That's awesome. I think it might be.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
Hello.
Let's begin. Hi. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Video Game High School Season 4 Kickstarter panel. This is YouTube being like a boss. Welcome, thank you for coming on a Friday Halloween. We appreciate it. I am Jirard, Khalil, the Completionist on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm on Random Encounters, also on YouTube.
AJ, it's me, AJ, and I'm from Random Encounters as well. We got an empty chair here, so if one of you guys wants to come up here, we're waiting for. We're missing. I'm texting him. Okay, well, Andre. I'm afraid he got attacked by fans. Somehow didn't show up. He was here. We just saw him in 5 minutes. I swear he's real. I've seen him on the internet.
It's visual effects. It's CG.
So how many of you guys know what YouTube is? There's a couple of you guys not raising your hands. I understand your confusion. I'm so sorry. How do I start this?
Well, AJ was going to.
Yeah, go ahead. AJ, you are our moderator. Okay. Today I'm the moderator. So hi.
I'm moderator.
AJ, I'm AJ. How many of you guys have a YouTube channel? Okay, a lot of you already are doing some YouTube. There he is! For our fourth Ninja Turtle. I'll let him introduce himself. Oh, he's down up there. Hi. I had food truck food. I'm going to do that really fast. Sorry.
Hi everybody, I'm Andre Meadows from the YouTube channel Black Nerd Comedy. Thank you, one viewer. Awesome. So I do weekly rants, reviews, and commentary about nerd and geek culture, particularly love for nostalgia culture, 80s and 90s, cartoons, movies, TV shows. Pretty much everything is being rebooted nowadays. My childhood continuously gets ruined every single week. And my whole base is like 80% of it.
Wait for the Super Mario Bros. Reboot.
Are we going to
Yeah, it's on the movie.
Sure. I love it.
Same script.
All female. Super Mario sisters.
Maria
and Regina.
So, now that we've learned a little bit about you guys, if I can break this down even a little bit further, how many of you guys watch personalities that do vlogging on the internet? Watch a lot of vlog stuff? Okay, a good portion of you. How many of you watch Let's Plays and gameplay footage? Yeah. All right, a lot of you guys do that too. And then let's go one step further. How many of you guys watch either music or sketch comedy? All right. So this whole room covers everything.
It's actually funny because sketch comedy and music on YouTube is so far in between. There's so many more vloggers and Let's Players than there are like sketch comedy.
It's true.
Musicians. Yeah.
Well, today what we're going to do is we're going to be talking a little bit about a few of the things that...
Can you hear them well enough?
Yeah. I was going to say, I can't tell how well I hear her sound. But we're going to be talking a little bit about how our channels have grown through the years, and some of the business that you can do on YouTube, some of the best practices that your channel can use to get more viewership and better attention, and maybe even get some companies or stars on it that want to come, join what you're doing and what you're working on. So, and then we're going to open up for some Q&A from you guys. So if you guys have questions, we're going to have a section just for that, and that microphone in the middle of the room that I totally didn't see when I walked in.
That may or may not work because we haven't tested it.
Yeah, we'll tell you when to line up. For now, you guys can just chill and hang out.
Sure.
Yeah.
So as a starting point, I'm going to go down this line to these guys here.
Before we do, one more series of questions. Who here is producing stuff on their YouTube channel?
Great.
Okay, yeah, that's a lot smaller. I had a feeling that. Because who wants to produce on their YouTube channel?
There you go.
A little bit. Okay, cool.
So that's why you're here.
Who is just uploading clips from Robot Chicken on their YouTube channel?
All right, cool. So as a starting point, if I can, I'm going to ask each one. We've already outlined what each of you guys do. So now I'm interested, for their sake as well. What made you guys start on YouTube? What made YouTube the platform to go start a channel on? Starting with my friend Jirard and his magnificent beard.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Well, for me, I graduated college, and I had that moment of like, what am I going to do with my life? And it seemed like everything I was doing was failing, especially on YouTube, because I had tried so many different shows that I thought were cool and hip and what people wanted to see. And I had produced, I think, 4 shows at a time, back to back, and none of them took off. So I had some friends who were kind of becoming famous in the YouTube space, people like Ego Raptor, John Tron, those guys, the video game critics scene, if you will. And they were like, hey, you should start a YouTube channel. And I was like, I got 4. And they were like, well, start something about gaming, because that was one thing I didn't do yet. And I worked at Best Buy for many years selling video games. So I said, well, what can I use my film degree with and my theater degree with what I'm going to Best Buy? So I, on a whim, made a review show called The Completionist, and the first video went viral somehow through the power of the internet. And I've been doing it ever since. And it's just been a very bizarre experience. It's one of those things that you cannot replicate every single day, or else all of you guys would have thousands of subscribers and millions of views. So yeah, that's how I got started.
Andre, what about you?
My channel got started because I tried out for a TV show called Beauty and the Geek. You guys remember that show? True story. One of my friends, we like the casting director of it, and they reached out to me regularly because they're like, we had the show on for 5 years and we've never had a black geek on the show. Don't exist! So I tried out for the show, and then still didn't get on the show. And they didn't put a black geek on the show. I was like, what? You went to this whole point diversity go, we did enough of that. But part of that was I had to make this video about myself and what I was geeking out. So I had this video. I was like, all right, well, now what do I do with this? You know, I'll just ask Christian to watch it. I want other people to watch it. And so he produced it. So I ended up putting it on YouTube because other people had YouTube channels and stuff. And when I did that, I started finding out, like, oh, people are making sketches. People are doing vlogs. I started doing more and more of that. And then I did a video. Back then, the weed was very hard to find. And so I did a video about trying to find a weed to the tune of T-Pain's Buy You a Drink. Oh, my God. And that was my weed. I'm going to take you home with me. And that's the video that got on like all the video game blogs and websites and kind of got it going. And I was doing the one-off like sketch comedy thing. And then people with money started showing up and making like really good looking. I was shooting all this stuff in my bedroom, in my living room, and they were like having one full set. So I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm mad. So then I just started ranting about things I was mad about. And you know what? A lot of people on the internet like when you rant about things you're mad about, surprisingly. And it's totally them.
Random Encounters, we actually started just by trying, we were doing like this contest for Sega, who was like celebrating 19 years of Sonic the Hedgehog. And so we literally were doing a video contest for Sega, and we were like, what's going to be the most unique thing we can come up with that's going to stand out in the crowd, because there's a trip to Japan in all of this. And we decided on something that we had been doing. AJ and I actually knew each other during college, and we had done some musicals together there too. And AJ has always been very musical, and so have I. So we're like, let's do a musical. They're not going to see another Sonic the Hedgehog musical. It's just not going to happen. AJ played Sonic the Hedgehog. He played Tails. He played Amy Rose. Yes.
Was this a one-man musical?
It's on YouTube that way.
So we did it, and we won, and Sega was just totally enamored by it, and they said, hey, do you want to do this like live at an E3 after party? And we're like, what? So we were like, okay, maybe there's a niche for this that is actually, kind of business viable. I mean, we got one company looking at us, so we did another song, and it did really well, and we did another, and it did really well, and we did another, and everyone was like, oh my god, this is the best thing, Pac-Man the musical, and so that's kind of where we started. It was just finding a niche and being like, well, we enjoy musicals, we enjoy video games, and apparently some other people on the internet do too.
Cool. Okay. Now, feeding right off of those, now I want to go back down the line again. Same order. And one of the first lessons that you learned from maybe a mistake you made or something bad that happened to you once you got started?
I guess mine was, I thought I was way cooler than I was when I started. was like, I got 1,000 subscribers, what's up? Yeah. I got a video with 500,000 views, but I got 1,000 subscribers, I know YouTube. And I uploaded the second video, got 1,000 views, and I was like, well, I know nothing about what I'm doing. That was my big mistake when I first started.
Mine was, hey, I got a video that got really popular. Rather than make something right after to keep people entertained, I'm just going to wait a few weeks, let that marinate, and then make another video like a month later. And that was the worst mistake yet. I made that mistake a couple of times, and then I found out, like, oh, yeah, internet, you will learn quickly that internet time is like its own speed. It's a much faster time.
A week is a month is a year.
And a month, 2 months is you're dead.
Yes.
so that was definitely the same.
I think we've learned the same lesson basically. We actually did do a string of videos together, one every month, which again, a month is a long time, but for us, because we make like musical numbers where you have to do pre-production, post-production, kind of a more intense timeline, and you kind of have to do it over a month period. But anyway, we had the same issue where we thought we were really big. We had made this video with 500,000 views, and people were coming to us and asking for deals. And so we were like, okay, we've got this plan. We're going to quit our jobs and move to Lancaster, which is an hour north of Los Angeles. Yeah. We got stuck there because we didn't have enough money to move back to Los Angeles. So we made the mistake exactly of being like, we're big stuff, we're doing awesome, and after our 500,000 view video, the next was like 10,000. We're like, okay, well that's over. So we've been building back up since. Quite well.
Yeah. One of the things you'll learn, there was definitely this time period, and it still happens from time to time where people are like, you gotta have that one viral video. But what I think we all can attest to is that the people that are really like, you would say like the tops of the YouTubers, a lot of them didn't really have a hit. They just were very consistent in making quality or good content, or whatever you define as quality, but content that people expected every single week or every single couple weeks or whatever their schedule was, and just was just there. So a lot of it's just being there constantly. Like, I like this, I know I can keep coming back and getting this. And that can sometimes be a lot better in the long run than having one viral hit and then having nothing after that.
Especially since the YouTube algorithm changes every 18 months with some new code that is designed and optimized for the good of the YouTube community, which ends up bugging out and never working. But as a YouTuber, one of the stresses, and I guess the first tip you guys can take away, is always be creating at least one video a week. That is like a personal thing that if you are going to start a YouTube channel, I would say try to get one a week, no day, no problem. And then once you've got the flow of things, you've got your show down, your idea down, then choose, okay, every Thursday at 1 p.m. the video goes up. Because as you start building your audience, people will expect that every Thursday at 1 p.m. to check back on your YouTube channel. Like a television show. You know, if you're watching, I don't know, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. at Tuesday night, you're there, ready to watch it. That's kind of how your audience will eventually become.
You know, one of the first people that we ever were told that by was actually Andre sitting over there. Andre is one of the first people to tell us that exact thing. Have a schedule, stick to your schedule. You know, make that a priority where you are responsible to your fans for your schedule.
We still haven't done that.
And also, be realistic though. Like, if you're going to create this like 45-minute show every single week, you probably shouldn't do a 45-minute show every single week. Start with a few minutes. Start with 10. Be realistic with yourself. I know it gets ambitious being in the space of like, I can create anything. And that's the beauty of YouTube, but just be realistic with yourself. Don't stress yourself out over getting 50 views in a video when you can take your time and make something right and concise.
Yeah, I like where this train is going. So if you can start all the way over on the end of Peter and then work toward me, and we'll do this a couple times over maybe. Throwing out one simple, like, silver bullet idea of something people can do to sharpen their YouTube videos or channel.
Don't be afraid of change, iterate. Watch what your viewership is doing, watch what your audience is doing, watch what the number of views you have is doing, and be willing to change up one variable every week while you're starting up, potentially. It's not a golden bullet, because not everyone, if everyone just changed all the time, then that wouldn't actually work. But while you're starting up, it can be a useful tool to just change one variable and track what it's doing, because you can actually come out with a better product in the end, or a more effective product. This is another thing that we didn't do that we might probably should have. We did it really, really slowly, and that turned out to be a problem. But iteration is useful, always.
Find your voice, I think, is one of the biggest things you can do, especially early on. I mean, formats, change, experimentation is something that's going to happen, as we just said, with how YouTube works. But there's one thing you can keep consistent throughout all of it, it is your voice. Particularly now, because there's so many people who are just like, I want to jump into YouTube and be big. You're just seeing a lot of channels that are just carbon copies of other channels. And what's the point? You know, like, you want to always make it where, you want to get to the point where it's not just so much, I'm still changing randomly find you, but I have a reason. There's something about you that makes you want to come directly to your channel to watch content. And the moment that you can kind of figure out what it is, and that can be everything from what you're talking about to just the way you talk about it. I mean, lots of people on YouTube will talk about the same topic, but there's a reason why someone will come to my channel or our channel or Random Encounters, because they know they're going to get a different experience than the average person just talking about it. So if you can figure that out, that will help you no matter what other iterations or changes are taking place.
Andre took what I was going to say. I got another one already while you were talking. Understand what YouTube is.
Yes.
That is the most important thing. YouTube is not a place for videos to go viral. That is not what YouTube is for. If you make a video on YouTube and it gets a lot of traction, that's not YouTube's doing. That's Reddit, that's Facebook, that's 4chan, that's communities and on game sites like Screw Attack and IGN. That's other people pushing to that content of yours that goes viral. So what that means is, know what YouTube is. YouTube is a search engine. So treat your videos like you're not going to trick your audience, but make it so that they look actively for your content. You know, if I'm doing a video on Mighty No. 9, which is a Kickstarter game last year, I'm going to make sure that my video is titled Mighty No. 9 Reveal or Mighty No. 9 Completed because I'm the completionist. And in your tags, really optimize that. Mighty No. 9, just like the M9, any kind of way that you would imagine someone trying to search for a video. Apply to it, because that's what it is. It's a search engine, and it's not going to get you views. You're going to tell it to get you the views by doing it correctly.
Let's go another round. I like these. Peter, you got another one?
Oh,
Let's go quick.
we're already on the spot.
See how many you can come up with.
Crap.
Peter for hours.
So, let's see here. Also, YouTube advertisements do not make you much money. And that's a really important point, because if you think they are and you base your business model on getting YouTube advertisement money, you're probably doing it the wrong way. There is much more money if you're looking for that in getting sponsorships with large companies and in producing a product that you can sell. Part of Random Encounters' shtick for making money, I guess, is the fact that we make musical numbers. What does that mean? It means that people are going to fall in love with the song and want to buy it. And so we have a physical product that makes us, 70 cents every time someone clicks buy, and it happens a lot. So find other routes than just YouTube in your business plan, if you have one, to make money, because you're not going to get it from YouTube directly.
Peter, since you're there, I want to add to that. I'm going to explain to you guys the basic math of how YouTube advertisement works in terms of views. So that's a huge thing that YouTube money that the big YouTubers are talking about is not a real thing. They do not tell you that. It is like the top 1 or 2% YouTubers who are like, yeah, roll in the club with whiskey and money. That is not a real thing. And this is why. So if I make a video that has 10,000 views, right? That's a lot of views to the average person who knows nothing about YouTube. To the average YouTuber or YouTube network, they laugh at that because it's like that's
actually.
What?
You cry, actually.
You cry at that because that's nothing. So this is how it works. For every 1,000 views, depending on what advertisement video is playing on the video, you will get paid for that set amount. So if there's a Honda commercial and the Honda commercial plays a $5 ad, $5 times 1,000 is $5 for you to have into that numerable section. If you get 10,000, obviously that's times by 10. But then you have to consider, okay, that's $50 or $25 or whatever. YouTube takes half of that, and then the network you're with takes another percentage. So really, a 10,000 view video is probably going to make you like $6 to $8, depending on the advertisement. So even if you get a lot of views, it's like you cannot invest your money in, you can't invest all your chips into that. You just know that.
And then those are monetizable views. So you also got to take into account that there are certain countries where they're not allowed to do monetization because it's all about
Copyrights.
Yeah. So even when you get 10,000 views, a percentage of those views you also still can't monetize, and so it even makes it less than that.
For whatever reason in Germany, they don't like that song as a copyrighted use thing, and most of the traffic came from Germany, so now you get nothing out of nothing.
Divided by 0.
Yeah. So go off, everyone. Achieve your dreams.
Never divide by 0.
But the reason why, but then that's where, again, the consistency and number of content. The reason why some channels are very successful, particularly Let's Play channels and vlogging channels that are like daily vlogs and that, is because then you start doing a collection. You know, that happens for the video, but then if you've got 500, 1,000 videos on your channel, and they're all doing that, and particularly because a lot of people can find you different points, so they're, you know, watching older content, then collectively that at least gets a little bit better. So the library actually helps out a lot too.
I think you're next to go. You just added to Peter's thing.
Oh.
Sorry, I messed it
Oh,
up.
wait, what is it again? Just like another tip.
Another tip for beginners or people who don't know.
Develop a thick skin. There's this lovely section on YouTube called the comments section. It's a lot of fun. Luckily, a lot of people don't know how to use it anymore, so they keep changing it. So that at least has helped. But yes, you're going to get some really random things if you know, people just say they hate your content. If you're a woman, you're going to get some extra things. If you're a minority, you're going to get some more extra things. If you're a minority woman, obviously on the internet before this is a scary place. But no matter what it is, whatever you got, someone's going to attack you for it. And so that's something that's, it's going to be very difficult because a lot of times people will do that stuff and they don't really even hate you. They just want attention. And so some people, they feel like that is the reason to get it. And so the best thing that you can do is try to just not go with it. Unless you're like me sometimes, or the rest of them, you kind of can be smart athlete.
Yeah, sometimes it's fun to be
Sometimes you just can't resist. But for the most part, you know, it is something to be careful of. It's because, like I said, a lot of times people are doing it just to get attention. There are some people who feel like that's their way of getting seen. Is, oh, if I go attack someone's on YouTube or just bring a lot of hate, then no people will argue with me and I get attention. Someone that another YouTuber told me that they do is whenever they see that happening, is they particularly reply to like positive comments.
Yeah.
So it gives the impression like, oh, if I'm actually being, you know, an actual if I'm actually providing information, that this is a response. What a great concept. So
good content.
Yeah.
Equals good response.
Yeah. So just be careful. And trust me, the bigger you get, the worse it gets. You know, there's a reason why, you know, PewDiePie turned his comments off. or the Boogie has said a couple things publicly. It gets really crazy because you either have people who are attacking you or you have people who are trying to use your channel to spam or promote their channel or product or thing or whatever. And it's terrible when you really want to engage with your audience. But it's just, you know, something that you just have to take care of. So get some good friends. Get some people who like to hang out with you, or find an ice cream shop. I took the ladder a couple
times. My thing that I learned way too late in the YouTube game was understand what contracts mean to you between not only yourself and a brand company like, let's say, Nintendo or Microsoft, but understand what the YouTube networks can do for you and how they're a business and you're not. Most people who start out doing YouTube don't even dream of making money. They just want the fame of having 1 million subscribers and, you know, 50,000 Twitter followers and Facebook likes and things like that. But you realize that as you start doing this, you are building a business, you are making money, you're making relationships and friendships with people who do have a lot of influence and will help you continually grow. But with that said, everyone can always capitalize off you in some degree. So it's important to have things like a lawyer and to read need the fine print on every single contract. It may seem great that they're going to pay you $100, but where is the $100 going? Is it going to everyone that you're getting $10? Like, you have to just read the fine print. And there's too many YouTube channels that I have consulted for who have just been like, well, I got screwed because I didn't read the fine print. It's like, that's the point. You need to take your time. Even if you're small, take your time, because it'll get to a point when you have a lot of subscribers and a lot of power, and the networks are going to be like, we want you, and then you have to say, no, you need me. What can you do for me? And that's when the conversation turns, and that's when you have all the power.
If you can't afford a lawyer, at very minimum, read it yourself. There are plenty of people who can't afford a lawyer and didn't read contracts, and that boggles my mind. You're literally signing your life away and don't know it if you do that. So please at least read the contract. But obviously if you can't afford a lawyer, or if you have a friend who is a lawyer, at least who can look it over, do anything you can to make sure that you are as solid as you can possibly be and know exactly what is about to happen to you when you put your pen on the page. Because you can sign your life away accidentally.
Yep. Okay, and then different realm, but same kind of concept. I would say this also goes with collaborations. When you're doing collaborations with, or if you want to do collaborations with people, kind of know when the right time to sort of reach out. Because I always say that's a mistake that I made. I think I jumped and tried to talk to people who I respect and who make great content very early on in my YouTube career. And there's people who, there's honestly people who I have more subscribers with than now, who still look at me like, oh yeah, he's that guy, he's got the little channel or whatever. But it's because in 2006, then I was like, hey, how's it going? Oh, you're great. Can I do collaboration? Great. And then, it was just like one of the people. So, that's something to be cautious of. Collaborations, like when people say collaborations, they always assume it means find someone who's bigger than you, do a collaboration with them, and you'll get their subscribers. And the thing is, all the channels know that. So if you're going to do a collaboration, make sure it's something that makes sense, and also just make sure that it can do anyone. I mean, there's people I've done collabs with that have a couple of thousand subscribers, and I've gotten more from them.
Hey Jirard, what are you doing?
Yeah. But there's people, I just like their content, and I was like, I want to do stuff with them. And there's people I've done collabs with that have 1 million subscribers, and then I did a collab, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, and like 2 people subscribed after that, because it's just like, it wasn't the right fit or whatever. So there's just something, so just kind of know when it's the right time to reach out to someone like that. And then also look at people who are around the same level as you. They look like the best people to collab with a lot of times. Are just people who are just like at the same place that you are and want to work together, and that's the thing. It's not just always.
Yeah, there are no power struggles or assumptions that one person is going to get a lot of stuff out of it and the other person's going to get nothing. It's very, very equal.
Yeah. It's also a matter of understanding that just because you collaborate with someone doesn't mean that you have to push them to push the video that you did with them. That's a common misconception with YouTubers. It's like, if Andre and I've known Andre for a long time before I even started YouTube, and I was a big fan of his, and then I still haven't worked with him because I feel like I'm going to find the right time to do it. Hopefully, if you want to work with me, yeah.
I'll think about it.
All right.
YouTube is just like actually.
Well, one thing, let's say if Andre and I work together, and I say, Andre, at the end of the video, can you cross-annotate and shout out, at the end of the video, and all the same. Most YouTubers don't like doing that, which is kind of stupid because that's how the business works. To collaborate with someone, you're telling them, hey, I just did this video with this person, check his channel out, I did a collab with him over there. And the point is that by mutual respect and mutually working together, you kind of want your audiences to blend. And I've seen a lot of YouTubers who just are like, oh, I did him a favor, so I don't need to shout it out and push it. And it's like, well, if you don't do that, then what's the point of working together? Because we're trying to help and promote each other. And if you're not going to do that, then we shouldn't be working together.
Okay, so I'm a new YouTuber, all right? I'm gonna be the new YouTuber that says, hey Andre, hey Jirard, I have a sweet video you should watch, right? You get the video from me. What is one rookie mistake you might expect to see? And you would tell me before I even send you the video, please avoid doing this.
Ooh. Andre, go first.
No.
Andre, go first.
God, if you're one of these people, I'm sorry. I'm talking bad about you.
Oh, I hope it's us. I hope it's me.
This goes back to just knowing YouTube. I it is, I always talk about this. It's 2014, guys. Your cell phone has 1080 HD now. Even like an old iPhone Galaxy S2 has 10. Just know what you're doing. I have gotten videos like, so please share this out. And it's like 4:3, no lights, copyrighted music in the background, in Windows Media, like
Text with white that like slowly fades.
Yeah.
I like that stuff.
What's the program where you make a video, but if you don't pay for it, it puts his name across it?
This is a free trial, like video codec.
Just like, yeah,
Andre, it's a rough cut.
It's just, and I'm not saying this. I mean, look, we all got to start somewhere. And this is by no means I'm saying go spend a bunch of money. I mean, one thing you'll learn about YouTube is you can be very creative with a little bit of money. There's a way that you can make your videos look awesome, sound awesome, whatever. We're like next to nothing in money because technology has just gotten that way. So I would just say learn that. But the bar has been raised high. We've got, CBS, NBC, all the major studios have divisions now where they're basically trying to do what we're doing, with tons of money behind it. Not to mention people who've been doing it for so many years now have tons of money behind it. So there's just a bar has been raised. And just kind of know that, hey, if you're going to send something, particularly this is someone who's, a bigger YouTuber, that this is the thing that's going to hook them in. This is my best stuff. This is my, quality video, and they're going to just love this and be able to work with them. And then just kind of leave it at that. But yeah, know your tech. Know your tech.
You want to go next, Peter? You want me to?
Okay, sure, I'll go. I might take your thing.
Go for it. I don't care. I'll figure it out. I gave you free reign to take my idea that I didn't tell you about.
Sweet. So don't do 30-second intro branding intros. Those are very dangerous. They're very tempting, especially with all the fancy tech we have now, where you can make awesome stuff in After Effects and do cool things. It's very tempting to make an awesome-looking 30-second intro. Probably not a good idea. Some people can get away with it, but some people can. Most people can't. Congratulations, Jirard.
Thanks, man. I'm looking like an 80s sitcom, like, is the black girl? Like Family Matters style?
Nice. One of the big reasons is because the algorithm now really tracks how long someone stays on your video. So if someone watches your video for 20 seconds and hasn't gotten into the content and so they click away, your one view becomes way less valued than if someone else has like 3-second branding intro where it's 3 seconds, okay, now we're into the content, and they watch for a full minute. So that's one of the really important things, at least right now, is watch out for how long someone's going to watch your video. That's all. Jirard, did I take it?
No.
Good.
I'm trying to relate back to Andrew's question.
Sure. If I'm a newbie that submits a video, what's a rookie mistake I might have made that you'd like to call me on really quick and tell don't do that?
I'm going to kind of change your answer with my answer a little bit, or question with my answer. If and when a YouTuber somehow goes through the thousands of messages they get every single day, and they choose your video at random, and they actually are like, hey, this is pretty good, here are some notes, take the notes. Take the notes because they know what they're talking about. I've had a lot of YouTubers. I did consulting for a long time to make up for the means because YouTube didn't make money on smaller YouTube channels, and one gentleman paid me a lot of money to consult on his. And he was so set in his branding and like how his animations looked and how his style was that no matter what I said, he was like, well, you're wrong. You're obviously wrong. What you're saying is not working. It's not what I want. I go, well, that's fine. You can be stubborn about it, but understand that that's the reason why. These reasons are why your channel may not be doing as well as you want it to. You have to be open to change and also open to understand why this space is so big and why the people who are doing well not only are doing well, but they're still doing well, and they're growing projects, and they're now producers with 4 or 5 other YouTube channels, because we understand how it works. And just be open to change. That's like the biggest thing I could say to a new channel when they ask me to look at their videos is you have to understand, I'm saying these horrible, mean things to you, not to hurt your feelings, but to try and open your eyes as to why things aren't the way that they should be and why you could do things to improve.
And to quickly add, because I don't want to put the floor, but that also applies if you've also had a channel for 3 or 4 years, because I have the same issue you have with people I've seen do content for a while whose channels are kind of going down, but don't understand that the YouTube of today is not the YouTube of 2 years ago or 3 years or 4 years ago. I don't want to accept that they need to do things a little bit differently. So,
They think that they're special and they're different. It's like, well, it's a computer.
yeah, robot does not care. Consistency. Sign up for the class. So change, being open to change. YouTube information about YouTube is so much more prevalent now than it's ever been. So they have their own blog. There's tons of websites that focus directly on YouTube content. So just really, it's just like with any other craft. If you're going to be part of the craft, you need to know the environment that you're in, and you know that it constantly changes, even more so with the internet. And just be prepared for change.
There's also, just to add to that, sometimes even YouTube doesn't know what YouTube is doing. You'd be surprised how many times we'll get emails from YouTube and they're like, hey, do you want to come down to our creative space and tell us what to do? It's like, isn't that your job to tell us what to do to keep going? And they're like, oh, we haven't figured it out, so come on by and use our fancy studio. And
Sometimes we get paid by YouTube to do that.
It's your website. How do you not know how it works?
Meanwhile, Amazon's like, perfect. Come with us, Twitch. They don't know what they're doing. We got you. Right. And 2-day shipping for free for all.
Andre, I hope you're in charge of Twitch someday so you can have business meetings where you just do that.
I am the great power of Twitch.
That was just Oz.
All right, we're going to open this up for you guys at this point. If you want to ask a question of everybody or anybody, you're going to walk carefully without tripping over anybody to the microphone.
Or punching anybody.
And you'll ask it in the microphone, and we'll answer questions from the microphone.
And if not, we can just keep talking. There's a couple of you there. Cool.
Hi guys, my name is Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Markiplier, like the one guy?
Sounds great. You guys are really informed. Thank you. My question is equipment. Microphones, capture software. What's best? What do you recommend for someone starting out?
Can I start by saying I love the fact that you started out with microphones? I'm a sound guy, and everyone ignores sound, and it makes me sad. And I hear like hisses and stuff on their audio. Just like that.
It's coming in with one speaker in your ear. You're like, I can't hear anything.
The first thing is like it totally depends on what your content is entirely. Like for a sketch comedy group, they're gonna need like one of those long what's called shotgun microphone that will capture sound from a little farther away, but so that they can actually capture dialogue on set while they're shooting their sketch. We don't need that because we do musicals. We record everything in the studio. So I can't. At least maybe someone else is genius. I'm not. I can't answer that without knowing actually what you need, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like stuff that's pre-recorded, not something that you don't set everything.
Oh, you brought cheese for everyone? Is that it right there?
These guys asking questions.
Oh, okay. There, it's right there. You already gave it away.
Sorry, guys. You were saying.
Yeah, so for microphones, it'd be stuff for like pre-recorded sort of thing, stuff that I can do.
Okay.
Like voiceovers.
Exactly.
Did you say pot stickers?
I did.
Can I have pot stickers?
I mean, yes, you can have a pot sticker.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I went to film school. You got to film school. Yeah. One thing I would always say is digital SLR cameras. DSLR cameras are like the thing to do nowadays. They're so affordable. They're in HD, 1080p. They look awesome. Even if you don't know what you're doing, they will make you look really good. And they're pretty cheap depending on where you look. You can get a good DSLR for like $500, a basic kit. Will do more work for you than needing even a light kit because they have such great sensors inside to control exposure and focusing and things like that. So I always say the Canon T2i is like a really solid. That was like the vlogger camera back when YouTube first started. Now there's like better versions of it for cheaper or for a better package price. And then I'm not a big sound guy, but Sennheiser makes really great microphones for both voiceover and for the field. And then if you're doing video game capture, if you want to be a reviewer or a let's player, you can get an Elgato. They're about $120. They do, depending on which one you get, they do HDMI, they do composite. They're really great priced, and for probably less than $600, you can get a nice setup going, depending on what you want to do.
Cool.
I am a sound guy, so I can hit that. I can hit that part. And the answer is, at least to me, a lot more broad. Honestly, when you're starting out, if you have a small budget, if you don't have much of a budget, almost any medium or large diaphragm condenser microphone between $100 and $150 will sound awesome enough. As long as the other really important part is as long as you have some kind of device that's not your computer's little plug-in port to get it into your computer. So I would definitely nominate like a Focusrite Sapphire or one of those kinds of products, which is basically like this little box that has 2 XLR inputs. XLR is the little circle with like 3 dots.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you know, so I apologize if I'm insulting your
No,
just look for things in the $100 to $200 range, and you'll find really awesome stuff. Honestly, you can probably just like go to Amazon, sort by like do the 100 to 200 for whatever product you're doing, and then sort by rating, and just buy the thing on top, and you're gonna have a good enough thing for the beginning.
When it comes to sound too, guitar center, they have all the microphones there. You can go and you can try them out. Sure, we'll try and get you to buy them right away, but you can take your time and really explore, okay, this mic is really good, I like it. And they've got all the equipment there and let you try it. So I always do that whenever I'm looking to upgrade or buy something new.
Okay, we have very little time left, so I want to throw out there, anybody who's asking a question, we have nerds here because we're all a bunch of nerds, and I thought, so come up and get a, we don't have any black nerds in here, I apologize. I don't want to eat those. But we are on the lightning round version of this, so we'll try to get as many of these as we can, so thank you. Thanks very much, nerds. All right, next question.
So I was wondering if you guys had any experience with the fan finder situation on YouTube, because I've heard some kind of dicey things about it, but I've also seen some fan finder ads, so I was just curious about that, so I'm kind of considering doing it for my channel.
Fan finder?
Oh, you mean like we make the trailer? And
Yes.
you
Yeah. It's the image trailer. Goes
sure. I mean, I don't think they don't charge you anything.
No.
It's just a feature you turn on. So if you've got it's basically you make like a trailer, and then you can tell YouTube to
Run that as a pre-roll ad.
for people that they think would be good for your content.
That's interesting.
So,
I didn't know that.
I would just, I don't know what the dicey thing is, but it's
I mean,
to turn it on.
Wonder if like they don't see it happen. Like
we're using that program. Our trailer that we cut in the very beginning was doing really well. Our analytics were saying, your trailer is doing great. It's bringing in lots of people. And now it literally says in big red letters, bad, on our analytics page. And we're like, the biggest reason I think for that is because our content, our schedule, everything has changed, and we haven't gotten to update it. So it will take upkeep. That's really all I can say is kind of monitor it. There is a thing in the analytics to tell you how well it's doing compared to other people's fan finder trailers. Monitor it, update it, iterate, which we are not doing.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, it's a nice idea. Come on up. Thanks, nerds. Next one, lightning round. Remember, lightning round.
Sorry.
I'm Tyler, and I was wondering, I was going to start doing Let's Plays, and I was wondering, like, what do people want most out of Let's Plays like now? Like, do they want comedy? Do they want really serious? Do they want straight to the facts, like achievements? Like, what do you think is like the most desirable out of like what people want?
The problem with the Let's Plays right now is that everyone's doing them. But this is the thing, though. It's not that everyone's doing them. It's that we had a group of Let's Players who weren't anyone else but Let's Players. And then now all the vloggers have become Let's Players. All of the hosts of shows for networks are Let's Players. Anyone who's a personality has become a Let's Player. So it's kind of hard to break in as a fresh, new Let's Player. I mean, the only two that I can think of that have risen beyond those walls are Markiplier and PewDiePie. And then with the reason, because they both have a lot of charismatic elements going for them, and they've had a lot of push. I would say, personally, don't do a Let's Play. I know that's really disheartening, but I would say, reinvent the wheel. Come up with something that's like a Let's Play, or it's got something different to it that'll encourage people to find something new from you. Cool. Cool. Thanks. I felt like I needed a green button, like, do we agree?
Hi.
Hi.
I just have 2 questions.
Yeah.
The first one's about monetization. You said they can't really make much money off the advertisements anymore. So what do you do in terms of monetization for videos? Because I am looking at trying to launch a channel relatively soon. I'm looking at it as more of a business model. So I do want to monetize, obviously get better equipment primarily, and also to pay people as well. So it's not just me, but feel like my friends. That's one of my concerns. My other thing is, I basically have almost no money to start this. I know the equipment I have on hand, which is a few webcams, a few basic pieces of equipment, but in terms of software, what is out there that's basically free or almost free that's really just better than Windows Movie Maker at this point?
There's nothing better than Windows Movie Maker.
In terms of free software, I don't encourage pirating, but if you one Google search.
I mean, Adobe, if you have a day job, Adobe CC is $50.
If you're a student, you can get a student copy through your portal any day. I did that for Adobe CS Creative Suite. I paid $50.
Any kind of student, or if you don't student, or
no, usually any kind of university, especially if you buy through the website, depending on your school. But
community college account for that?
What's that?
Community colleges.
Yes.
Okay.
Go to your career center and ask them there. They will help.
Okay.
They're designed for that.
And then regarding monetization, I mean, it monetizes, just not very well. So wrap it into your business plan, but find out how much money it's going to bring you and keep that.
So, how have you guys made a living off this, or have you really?
I'm still working a day job.
Andre and I are full-time, but the biggest thing is that back in the day, monetization was impossible for gameplay channels because the networks only picked a few, and then the networks thought they could get away with it by signing a whole bunch, and that kind of like granted immunity. And then until last October, they changed the algorithm so that no one was safe ever again. So it's kind of the thing of, if you do create, content with copywritten stuff, you should get really big first before you try and monetize, or else you're going to get copyright shut down immediately. Or 2, sign with a network that it has a protective clause against that for your behalf. Because there are networks that will cover you under their copyright umbrella, and they will go to bat
and
for you.
do networks help you make more money as well?
That's a different panel.
Basically, don't sign up unless you beat until they come to you.
When you've got thousands of followers, subscribers, and views a month, that's when you can start considering a network. In the meantime, slow and steady by yourself.
And equipment-wise, I mean, just a decent, like even if budget for the cameras, maybe like $60 at most, even less. What would be good personally? Just a phone?
You have an iPhone?
I got an Android. Good enough.
Use it.
S4.
It's an 80. It's all you need.
Oh, just point it.
JNDP. Yeah, you're good.
Headset. That's
Hold
it.
it this way. Don't hold it this way.
Yes. Alright, we got one. Take one. We'll try to do 2 more questions. Alright, quick.
Yeah.
Alright, my question's pretty quick anyway. Any tips towards like recruiting people to help? Like in my case, it would be voices.
I would say start out by yourself before you go ask people. Because that way you can present with them and say, look what I've done, this is what I'm doing, do you want to help? And that'll entice them more so than you being like, let's do a thing.
And we're best friends.
And we're best friends that will work for free and food. Alright, last question.
Hey guys, thank you very much for doing this, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
Marketing tips at all? Or does good video market itself?
It will not market itself. You have to work really, really hard.
I'm gonna take a page from Jesse Cox's book. Advertise like a shameless whore. And do not worry about who says what. I kid you not. If you do let's say you do a video on a certain game, and there's a community fan site about that game, like World of Warcraft, go to the World of Warcraft forum and post your video about World of Warcraft, and just have a conversation. Don't spam it immediately, but just leave it there and say, hey, if you like World of Warcraft, you're gonna love my World of Warcraft video.
Also, are you guys on social media? How much does that matter?
Social media helps out a lot.
Key. Fans will get the biggest kick out of you saying hello.
Yeah.
They will
I love that.
go crazy, and they will stay loyal to you for doing that.
Yeah, interaction is great.
Key.
Sorry to everybody that we didn't get questions with. You might be able to catch us out in the hallway right after this, but we are going to have to vacate. So, thank you to all our new panelists. Thank you guys for coming. Happy Halloween to you guys. And anybody here tomorrow? I know Random Encounters is going to. Are you paneling tomorrow?
I'm on a Geek Keeping It Hot panel, 3 o'clock with Chris Gore, and we're doing I think it's male versus female geek trivia.
Awesome. So make sure you come see those. And if you want some nerds, we got them up here. We're going to give them away. Thanks, guys.